Hello, grade 9. Today we are going to be reading some poetry. This first poem is called For My People by Margaret Walker. This poem is, the style is free verse, so it might be very difficult to find any sort of rhyming pattern or any real sort of pattern, but this is still a poem. It's a free verse poem, so it's meant to have its own sort of style. Okay, so I'm going to read it, and while I'm reading, pay attention to the writing, how the writing looks, the use of punctuation, the use of spaces, things like that. Okay, because it's all on purpose. There's a reason for all of it, and also the way that the words are written, the way that the phrases are constructed. All of this is intentional. It's part of the poem. So it's called For My People by Margaret Walker. For my people everywhere, singing their slave songs repeatedly, their dirges and their ditties and their blues and jubilees, praying their prayers nightly to an unknown God, bending their knees humbly to an unseen power. For my people, lending their strength to the years, to the gone years and the now years and the maybe years, washing, ironing, cooking, scrubbing, sewing, mending, hoeing, plowing, digging, planting, pruning, patching, dragging along, never gaining, never reaping, never knowing, and never understanding. For my playmates in the clay and dust and sand of Alabama backyards, playing, baptizing, and preaching, and doctor and jail and soldier and school and mama and cooking and playhouse and concert and store and hair and Miss Chumby and company. For the cramped, bewildered years we went to school to learn, to know the reasons why and the answers to, and the people who, and the places where, and the days when, in memory of the bitter hours when we discovered we were black and poor and small and different, and nobody cared, and nobody wondered, and nobody understood. Okay, I want you to notice where these lines end, where the lines break, okay? That's on purpose. There's a reason for all of that. So in this first stanza, she's talking about these are all different ways of singing songs. These are all different, like not really songs, but ways of expressing, ways of expressing yourself through like music. Blues is a type of music. Jubilee is like a way of feeling when you're really happy, and maybe you're like singing because you're very happy. Um, and then she's talking about prayers and being on your knees praying. And then this stanza is very interesting. Notice there are no commas or anything, but she's listing all of these things because that's what it was sort of like for especially when black people were still slaves. There was no break. You were just always working. You were a slave. So she didn't put any commas. A comma is like a break. It's the same thing like a break, right? So because slaves were always working, she does, and they don't get a break. She's listing all of these jobs that slaves did without working with a break. And then in this one, she's sort of like rambling and talking about all of these games that she played when she was a child in Alabama. Alabama is a state. And then bewildered. This word is like another word for confused. So she's talking about all the things that she learned, all of the things that she learned when she was in school, the reasons why things happen, the answers to questions, the people who, like these are all just ways of saying the things that she's learned, but she does it in a very clever sort of way. And then she also talks about how being black and poor, she also talks about the thing that she learned about the color of her skin and how she felt as a person. For the boys and girls who grew up in spite of these things, to be a man and woman, to laugh and dance and sing and play and drink their wine and religion and success, to marry their playmates and bear children and then die of consumption and anemia and lynching. For my people thronging 47th Street in Chicago and Lenox Avenue in New York and Rampart Street in New Orleans, lost, disinherited, dispossessed, and happy people. filling the cabarets and taverns and other people's pockets, and needing bread and shoes and milk and land and money and something all our own. For my people, walking blindly, spreading joy, losing time, being lazy, sleeping when hungry, shouting when burdened, drinking when hopeless, tied and shackled and tangled among ourselves and by the unseen creatures who tower over us omnisciently and laugh. For my people, blundering and groping and floundering in the dark churches and schools and clubs and societies and associations and councils and committees and conventions, distressed and disturbed and deceived and devoured by money-hungry, glory-craving leeches, preyed on by facile forces of state and fad and novelty, by false prophet and holy believer. For my people standing, staring, trying to fashion a better way from confusion, from hypocrisy and misunderstanding, trying to fashion a world that will hold all the people, all the faces, all the Adams and Eves and their countless generations. Let a new earth rise. Let another world be born. Let a bloody peace be written in the sky. Let a second generation full of courage issue forth. Let a people loving freedom come to growth. Let a beauty full of healing and strength of final clenching and be the pulsing in our spirits and our blood. Let the marital songs be written. Let the dirges disappear. Let the martial songs be written. Let the dirges disappear. Let a race of men now rise and take control. Okay, so in this stanza here, she's talking about what people grow up to do, all of these people that she knew, all these children, all these boys and girls that grow up and get married and laugh and dance and sing and have fun and have families and then eventually end up dying. Consumption is tuberculosis. These are all diseases that were probably very big around the time this was written. And then she's talking about all of these people in this stanza here. She's talking about all of these people who are sort of wasting their time going to taverns or bars and going to these dance clubs and just feeling like they don't have purpose or they don't have any reasons. She's talking to all of these people here. And then here she's talking about people who are just lazy and maybe they don't do very much or they get very angry quickly and they just feel like they are not in a very good place. They're not stable, maybe. And they feel like it's difficult to get out of every situation, and they're always sort of being just wasteful. She's addressing these people. She's talking to these people, right? So in this stanza, she's talking about now all of these people in the civil rights movement that are going to these churches or going to these different organizations and meetings in protest in order to, gain more rights and everything like that. These are the people that she's talking to here. And now she's basically okay. And then for this stanza, now she is talking about she's talking about people that are basically not trying to progress the American culture and let these Black people have their rights. And also the people who are trying to work to give these Black people their rights. She's just addressing these people. And then in this last one, she's finally making her point, and she's saying that let us now begin this new world together. Let's all work together and be friends so that we can come up with more issues that we can overcome. Let's forget this old stuff from the past, and let's let these old sad times go away, and let's try to progress and take control and do what's right.